What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome in each and every one of you monsters out there. Maybe you're a big old monster. Or maybe you're a human and you're playing Mardu, right? What set am I talking about? Can you figure it out yet? Maybe you're out there cycling, putting counters on things, or maybe you want to mutate a bit. Whatever your flavor is this week, we're going to Ikoria. And you know what that means. Companion City, baby! People are going to be opening up some companions. It's going to get weird, and it's going to be a fun week. We are doing 80 card decks. Yes, basically everyone has the Yorion stipulation, where every deck must have 20 more cards than they need to have. And if you open Yorion, you need an extra 100 cards, because this week, 80 cards is the norm. Don't be cheating, putting Yorion in your 80 card deck. And I am, of course, your host with the most, your Goku or Go Home, your Don John D. Marco. I am a one-time Rookie of the League. We are talking Strixhaven. I am a one-time League winner, Chaos 2. And one time I made the Player of the Year Mega Draft. And I'm excited for this one. I was excited for the last one. And, we got to talk about it. It's time to Planeswalk.
Let's Planeswalk.
We were in Strixhaven this week, and as I record, it is 4:30 on Thursday. This is your top 8. Sawyer T, Soy Boy, 14 and 5. Tony G, Why Not Rock, 14 and 6. Johnny M, Johnny, 14 and 6. Lot P, Lot, 13 and 6. Dan A, Beat Down Bringa, 13 and 6. Caleb G, Why Not, 13 and 7. Jesse R, Zephyr, 13 and 7. Cody Race, 13 and 7. Cody Race is the best player on the server. Those are your top 8 right now, and top 8's been changing. This was a weird week for top 8s. Weird week for a lot of players doing a lot of things. This was I talk about it in my interview this week, but sorry, Chris York. I know you don't like it when I'm negative. I hated this week. I hated it. This week made me dislike the league. It made me dislike Magic for a little bit. I hated this week. The deck I had to play is not the deck that I enjoy playing. There is one card in my deck that I played this week that it was in my normal deck from last week that I was super excited about and I really liked. And I just had a terrible week. I'm playing monocolor. People are playing 4 or 5 colors. It was dumb. I didn't like it. That's all I'm going to say about it, though. I'm not going to get into it too much other than, I underplayed this week, and I never underplay. That is a hard rule that I have for myself, is that I will never underplay. And I underplayed just so I didn't have to play any more games this week. I really disliked this week a lot. But I'm really looking forward to the week that's coming up. Ikoria, 80 card decks. This is where I think I'm going to shine a little bit. I got a lot of tutors in my deck. I'm still playing 5 colors. And I'm just excited. I want to play some more games. I do have to go 5-1 this week to not get eliminated. So I'm probably getting eliminated this week. That's fine. It's been a while since I've made a week 6. And, this one is just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen this time. But we'll see. You never know. So 80 card decks. At this point, everyone should have enough cards to fill out 80 card decks. But the question is, do you go for the powerful splash everything you can, which seemed to work out for a lot of people in Eldraine week? You know, no one's really playing monocolored and doing well. The decks that are doing well are playing 2, 3, 4 colors. People are getting greedy with their splashes. I hear it's better to have a greedy splash than play some bum cards that you're going to find between cards, 25 through 35. Play those extra powerful cards and just try to, hopefully you have the lands to make it work. That was my problem. I just didn't have the duels to splash more than one color. And even then, it's monocolor week. I'm not splashing much. I think I had 2 white cards in my deck. So we're going back to Ikoria. We are ready to mutate. All these monsters are coming out. And I hope everyone gets to open some nice busted strong things. This was a strong set when it was a league, right? Ikoria is a pretty strong set. Good removal, strong companions, some good mythics, good rares. Shark Typhoon. Oh, that's a good card. Oh, that's a really, really good card. Really fun, too. So, I got to go 5-1. I'm probably going to get knocked out this week, and I'm going to give Jesse first shot if he would like. Because I usually do the knock me out, come on the show. But Jesse's back, and I got to give Jesse his chance to knock me out. Because that's just, it's history, right? That's history, man. And I think I can take Jesse this week. I think I can do it. Before we get to next week, we got to talk a little bit more about this week, right? About Eldraine and how it's going. And we got to have somebody from the league come on the show in a segment I like to call Rolling the Planner Dice.
A game for those who seek to find a way to leave their worlds behind. You roll the dice to move your token, doubles get another turn. The first player to reach the end wins. 6.
Yes, this week I talked to, it's a big name. It's a Git. It's someone I see a lot. Someone who has a lot of opinions. Someone who has a good record. A league winner, this person. I talked to Adam S., a.k.a. Wisma. Someone who's been in the server a long time, always vocal, always saying a lot of stuff, and a super nice, smart guy. Just love talking to him. So let's listen to my interview with Adam now. All right, everyone, thank you, and join me as we roll the planner die with none other than Adam S. Wisma. Thank you, and welcome to the show, Adam.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, huge get to get Adam on the show. Adam, league winner, SNC, moderator on Cody's secret super duper server, and all around great guy. So happy to have you, man.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Of course it's true. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about you. I have very few bad things to say about anybody in the league. So, but you've always been a stand-up guy who's always out and about on the servers, always seeking information and like questioning builds, questioning cards. I love it. The way you look at Magic, I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
I got to know, when did you start playing to have such an inquisitive Magic attitude?
I think I've got the standard story here where I started in high school as a kitchen table starter deck kind of player.
Sure.
Giving away my age a bit, but this was in the mid 90s.
Ooh.
I didn't actually know. I've been telling this story, and I didn't actually know until I went home to my parents over Christmas what sets I actually played and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
But I dug out the collection. It looks like it was like Ice Age Homeland sort of era.
Anything fun? You find anything fun in there?
The most valuable card, sadly, that I found is Didgeridoo. I don't know if you know that card. It's like a Minotaur
tribal thing.
I think it's reserve list, but it's worth a few dollars.
Every time they print a Minotaur, that thing goes up $1. It's so funny. Every
keep them coming.
The Reddit's always like, is this finally gonna break Didgeridoo? No, they're not breaking Didgeridoo.
Yeah, I didn't know the card, but apparently I owned it. So many years ago. But I got really into the game. The set was Throne of Eldraine. At the time, I was really into board games and board game design.
Sure.
Played some games that had really strong draft elements and loved it. Like Seven Wonders, I think, is the sort of classic casual drafting board game.
Yeah.
And then I just stumbled onto a video of, it must have been Pro Tour Amonkhet, the coverage of their draft, their feature draft. And
yeah.
I just was like, oh God, I'm fucked. This is awesome. This is going to take over my life, which it did. I just knew watching people draft Magic. I was like, oh, this is the game for me. I don't know. I don't remember from the 90s drafting existing at all. I don't know when that started as a concept. But
that'd be a fun history lesson, because I know they did different kinds of drafts, right? They had the weird Rochester drafts, and the whole pack is face up and you pick one card. There's a bunch of different drafts. So yeah, I do wonder when the draft that we know and love came to be, because it didn't start out that way, I don't think.
Definitely wasn't on my radar at the time, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist. But yeah, once I discovered that, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be my whole gaming life now. Which I think is what's happened.
You like board games? Did you ever play Dominion? That's my favorite card board game. Oh, you just draft storm every time. Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, Dominion was a staple of my gaming group. We had a big range from super casual games, like Seven Wonders, or there's one called Love Letter that we play that's super casual. All the way up to like Twilight Imperium kind of games, just like the really hardcore full day. Yeah, no, that was a big passion of mine. I have less time for it now because Magic just took over.
It does. I've got a whole closet full of unopened board games at this point. And Throne of Eldraine, what a good set to come in on. I love Throne of Eldraine. That's one of my like top favorite sets. Like great draft design,
sure.
great lore, beautiful cards. Fairy Tale thing was so well done. Oh, I loved
I
Eldraine.
loved the top down design, right? Like
Yeah.
that they started with fairy tales and worked back. Like that captivated me so much. The showcase frames, which I think started then,
Yeah, they did.
or sometime around then anyway. That like they were just so perfect. Loved that. Loved the whole just concept of drafting was new to me. I'd say that set and Ikoria were two that I just blew me away. Like I loved Ikoria.
Those are both, yeah, those are two really great sets, and they were pretty close to each other, if not like back to back. But yeah,
Theros
those are
was in between.
Theros.
But
Theros wasn't bad either. Theros is fun. Theros ain't bad, but it's no big
yeah,
monster.
I don't
Ikoria.
love that. Yeah, but Ikoria again, the like showcase art, like just nailed it for
the
me.
great ones.
I love the draft environment. I love the flavor. I think that's really important for me and how I enjoy Magic is just like I love sets where like I love that the draft environment in Ikoria was humans versus the monsters, and that like came across in the color pairs and stuff. You know, if you're the Mardu colors, you were like the entrenched humans trying to grind it out against the massive monsters in teamer colors. Like loved that. That was yeah.
And the Godzilla cards. I love the Godzilla. The first time they did that stuff, the Godzilla cards were really cool. That was real fun.
I don't know. I'm a purist. That stuff.
I can't bring up Theros. I can't bring up Godzilla cards with this guy.
Theros, I was just traumatized. That was the first. I mean, obviously, I was new to all of it, but that was the first time playing something like Dream Trawler, where it was like, oh, I see.
Oh, it's
There's
not
going to be cards I hate in this game.
Yep, there will always be that rare mythic bomb that you're like, oh, you got that? All right, well, bye. I'm just done. Can't win.
That was my introduction. That set to Hexproof and to Indestructible, both of which I found to be very frustrating. Although
two very fun mechanics, right?
You learn to live with them and love them, but that was my intro. So I didn't. Maybe that just was part of my learning process and scarred me on the set a bit.
Well, talking about learning to live and love, we are deep in Planechase right now. We're wrapping up week 3 on Eldraine, actually, as it so happens. And how you doing? How you liking Planechase? How's your deck? And yeah, what's the scoop here, Adam?
Love Planechase. Love. Like that we're bouncing around. I like that the mechanic changes every week. I think that's just beautiful. Love that the punishment pack changes every week and that it's consistent.
Yep.
Like love that whole piece of this. Amazing. How am I doing? Like I'm just outside of the top 16. Eldraine's been a disaster, but knew that was coming.
Been there, man. I've been there.
Got one game left to play to hit the minimum for this week, and I'm just holding my breath. If I lose, I don't know. It's hard to see a top 8 if I go 1-3 this week, but
yeah.
You know, probably won't make top 8 anyways. That's the silver lining.
Hey, I thought you want to talk about going 1-3 this week. You're talking to him. Yeah, that's me, and I'm happy to not play any more games on Eldraine. Couldn't wait to sit and wait to see whatever happens next week. Eldraine is I don't know. I'm not digging Eldraine personally, but that's me. I don't want to be the grumpy guy losing on Eldraine. I think Dan said it best. It's like, yeah, we're a couple guys that are losing and we just don't like it. It's like, is that part of it? Probably a little bit. But also like I don't know. I don't love my monocolor deck. It's not good. It's not good compared to my other deck. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's too punitive, I think, this plane. Like I'm all for pretty radical like restrictions.
Sure.
I love that. I just think this is a bit too far. I think Brawl would be really hard too. Both of them, I looked at my pool and I was like, there's no chance I can get to a competitive deck.
Yeah.
I find that's really hard late in a league, right? Where it's like you're competing, everybody's still in it. And then suddenly the shift means like, it's not like, oh, it's a deck building challenge for me. It's like, oh, I'm hopeless here.
Yeah.
And that's been hard.
It's I feel like it's the week of the have and the have nots, and the have is like the dual lands that people seem to have and the splash that they want to risk. Because there are some cards I'm seeing out there. I mean, I've played against a World Tree, I've played against a Golos. I'm playing against all these cards. And I'm like, this
Maybe
isn't.
this is why we're 1-3. We both played against Lotta with
Oh,
her Golos World Tree combo,
geez,
which is
it's
just devastating.
oh my gosh, it's like you think it's monocolor week, and then they're playing 3-4 colors, and I'm like, I'm playing like 2 twos for 3 on my side of the board to try to make this thing work.
Yeah, very vanilla for me. I think if I were like this league, I love that I love the design constraints. Like I love the deck building constraints that have
Yeah,
been set up for everything. I wish that was on every plane. Like if I were redoing the design of this, I would give you a little something for your deck on every plane. I would put a little constraint that shifts everybody's deck every week,
yeah.
and I would scrap the sets that no one cares about, the core sets and stuff like that. I would just get rid of those as planes that you could land on, and I just think that'd be like amazing.
I like it. We're not even at what would you change about the league, and this is a great response. Because I agree.
That's where I would go.
It's like a half. I keep coming back to people keep saying chaos, and I don't think we should be calling it chaos because it's not chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It's Planeschase, and then we talk about the chaos in Planeschase. It's like that's just Planeschase. There isn't a chaos inside of Planeschase. Planeschase is its own thing with randomization and weirdness and nonsense. Um, so yeah, I feel like there should be some consistency because having some planes that are deck restrictions, I love it. I love the deck restrictions. I think it's great. But it's like when they're not all deck restrictions, it feels a little weird, doesn't it? To be like, oh, I got like lifted up in the last 2 planes with like free cards. And on this one, it's like, oh man, I'm being pushed down now. And I'm not getting anything for it in return, except for a couple of real bad packs on my side.
But I just think people really like the restrictions on building.
They love them.
Like it seems like one of the most universally liked things. Like I know we're here bad mouthing Eldraine.
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying that it exists. I would tune the design of the plane a little bit to make it less punishing, or like just give people stuff to make these decks work better, right? To like
Yeah.
give them a couple of pieces towards a monocolored deck, right? Something like that. But I think everyone loves having the restrictions, and so I would just have them all the time.
I agree.
I think it's great. This is the first time I've ever played Magic at all and being like into the idea that I'm a planeswalker traveling plane.
Yeah.
Like that's the conceit of the whole game apparently, but like I never think about that usually.
I'm
And
loving
here
the
I'm like,
flavor of this league, right? How
totally.
every week they're updating like the colors of the names to go back to SNC, or it's like we're on Eldraine, so they got the Eldraine up in the top, and they rename all the chats and stuff. Like league committee is doing a
So
great
good.
job of going from plane to plane and making them unique and making them special. And they're knocking it out of the park on this, I say. Just because I'm grumpy and I'm losing, I'm talking about how I don't like monocolored week. Whatever, it's fine.
I
Uh,
on the chaos subject that you were saying how it's not chaos. I'm all for that too. I don't like chaos, it turns out. I thought I liked chaos, and this league has taught me like, nah, I really like designed environments more. I like when there are pieces of interaction to match the threats, and most people generally have access to that.
yeah,
I think that makes sets good and just generally limited environments. Too much like chaos. I get the chaos has a creative side to it where you're kind of trying to piece that together, but like it's also feels. I mean, I know it feels random. It is random, right? But it feels weird not having counter spells or removal, no basic elements to interact with things that are going on. I thought that was also for me the problem with set wars a little bit, is that
okay,
if your set lined up incorrectly with your opponent's set, you might have no way to interact with what they were doing,
yeah,
and it just made for non-games. I feel that same way about chaos sometimes, where I found through all the chaos leagues that I've done, or the 2 or 3 that I've done, I've just felt like I wish this was just a designed environment more, where stuff lined up naturally with what my opponent was trying to get done.
yeah,
And the bad sets, I think, fail at that too, right? Like I thought that was the problem with Vow, was that you just have these threats that you can never interact with. Or
yes.
Theros to badmouth it one more time, one last time,
There else.
unless we land there. One more time, one last time,
There else.
unless we land there.
Yeah, what is the Theros mechanic if we go to Theros? Is it
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you. I'll tell you what, is there a plane you're really looking forward to going to, or a plane you're really looking forward to, or a plane you're hoping to miss? Like a plane you
I
don't
think
want to go to?
Brawl will be like Eldraine too.
Yeah.
The AFR one, I think that would be the same problem for me. I don't have a good commander. I don't have a particularly strong color pair.
Yeah.
So that would be a bad one for me personally, although it would be cool. So
Brawl was
I
fun.
don't know.
People love Brawl.
I love the Brawl League. I said that was our best league last year,
Yeah, that was a
kind
good
of
one. That was a really good one.
controversially.
It
That was
was
my
it
hot
was
take.
fun. I think it would have been better with maybe a different set, but I don't know. You get into legendaries and stuff. I think there was just the polar bear, very cards. They're just very strong in that set that were shouldn't have been in the league. I
Yeah,
think.
agreed. It was a fun set actually. I liked the limited environment for whatever that was, Commander Legends 2. Is that what it
Yes.
was called on Arena? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Baldur's Gate Commander Legends too.
But yeah, it did a bunch of stupid stuff. There were a bunch of cards that were like they just did 5 minutes of testing and threw them out there.
They weren't designed for you to grab every food card you could when you lose and throw them in the deck. It
Yeah,
was never
yeah.
supposed to happen.
We saw that coming though. That was we could have pre-banned that. We could have day zero banned the bear. That one was going to be egregious from the moment we saw it.
Yeah, we just let it ride. They're like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I love that league too, and I am sometimes I'm like critical of stuff like this, but like because I love it.
Yeah,
I think that
right.
was such a cool idea.
I'll say for as much as I'm dogging on Eldraine League again, I love Planechase. I love Planechase League. I think this thing is great. I'm having a blast in this league, so I'm loving it. So these are just vocal criticisms. Don't shoot the messenger here. Just listen to my show. Okay, you don't have to listen. You can turn it off. Adam, this is another one of my favorite questions because when I ask this one, I learn a lot. It's always either one of two things: a card from when you started playing that you are connected to, or a card that you love and you love to draft. So I want to know, what's your favorite Magic card?
So this is a tough question. I had to think a lot about this when you sent me this
Yeah.
question in
Oh,
advance.
everyone
Yeah.
struggles with this one.
Well, because there's whatever there is,
Oh yeah.
100,000 cards out there. I think as drafters too, right? Like we probably have a harder time than most Magic players. Like
Yeah.
if you're a commander player, it's probably your first commander or whatever. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
but the one I thought of that came to me was it's a card called Mist Meadow Witch. I don't know if this is
Ooh,
something you'd know.
I
It's
know.
a Kithkin from Shadowmoor. I know it mostly because it was reprinted in this year's Double Masters.
Okay.
That it's got a like repeatable blink effect on it. So this card, the reasons I love this card are many. The first is that it's from Lorwyn block, which I just absolutely love. I think that's just such a cool, flavorful block of cards. If people haven't seen Spice 8 Racks video series or video on that, super strongly recommended. I love, love, love Lorwyn after watching that. So that's like my number one reason. But also the art. I just love.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm looking at this art right now and I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is a cool card.
I I I love all of the Kithkin in Shadowmoor. So like they're like hobbits or whatever from Lorwyn, and then Shadowmoor is dark Lorwyn, right? The corrupted Lorwyn plane, and these are the
Yeah.
corrupted hobbits basically, and they have these big glassy eyes. I love this is like a Greg Staples artwork on here. Just like love, love, love that. And then it's got a repeatable blink effect on it. I think everybody loves blink. It can be a bit oppressive or whatever, but it's still fun. This one is like the old formatting. Like you can tell this was designed before the modern kind of effect like this because there's no limit to it. You don't have to tap the card. You can do it repeatedly. And it turns out this is the other reason I love this card. I found this out in the middle of a game that you can blink your opponent's cards with it, which is just gross. So I was facing down a lethal attack and I had this on board, a couple open mana, and I realized that I could blink a couple of his creatures coming in and that
Mhm.
was going to give me another turn. And then I realized that I could blink them and trigger their ETB effects. And I drew out my opponent by blinking his creatures to win the game with like no other possible route out of that.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, I loved like such a fun game. I think about that game a lot, but just love the creature, love the block that it's from,
Yeah.
love the concept, the corrupted Kithkin, like all of it.
Oh, what a cool card. Yeah, I don't know this card, but it's very cool looking. And then yeah, you can exile target creature. It doesn't have to be your own creature. It can be your opponent's creature too. So oh yeah,
I
that's
think
a
that's
good
a
one.
really interesting thing coming to this huge card pool as a player that's only been playing for a couple years,
Uh-huh.
you know, really, is that you go back and you look over these cards and you have to sort of figure them out. And some are super weak, the cards in the history of Magic,
Yeah, they
and
really are.
some are like sneaky busted in ways like this, right? And just making those evaluations when you come across these cards out in the wild or in a reprint set is such a fun bit of the game. I don't know. I love that.
Yeah, this is a cool card. If you're listening to the show, you don't know this card, Google it. Mist Meadow Witch. Take a look at it. That's it's cool art. Cool art. Awesome. I like the choice, Adam. Very nice. Well, Adam, you've been in a few leagues. What was your first league that you came in on? And where'd you find it? I always like getting that answer. You get it from Reddit, or you're a Canadian guy where you hear about it locally, people at your shop going, "Oh man, it's just cool Discord you got to get in. We play all these Magic games."
I must have found it on Reddit, actually. I don't remember how I found the league. That's a great question. I came for Vow League. That was my first.
Okay,
So it was
nice.
when we had the rival vampire houses,
Yeah.
and that was my introduction to our OMW tie-breaking system
Oh no.
because I finished week one 5-0,
But
but I
you
was
weren't a
the
vampire.
third place on OMWs. I did not get to have
Oh.
my own
Oh
vampire
no.
family.
That would have been so cool for your first league to start off as a vampire guy.
I
Oh,
know, and I had to learn what OMW was. I hadn't even really played a lot of competitive Magic,
sure.
like FNM stuff, really. So I didn't even know what OMW was. I didn't understand that being the tiebreaker.
Oh,
So I was like, oh, gutted. That was a fun league until it devolved into total bomb
yeah. And that was
hysteria.
those two players were Ryan D and Chris R that became the vampire lords. And
Yeah,
I've had
Chris
a
R squeaked in like the last hour of the week to the 5-0.
oh no. Oh well, you've been in a bunch of leagues, so you've been in there since Val, so that's going pretty far back. What's one thing they would change? I'm sure you've seen a lot that you would like at this point.
Yeah, I've been pretty vocal about the stuff I would change. I mean, for me personally, the thing I would want is just like more of these like big, flavorful league mechanics, like the
Okay.
really crazy experimental ones. That's the thing that I personally really like. I know that that's probably like too intense for a lot of people, but I love the family leagues. I think those are
Yeah.
super cool. I loved Brawl. I mentioned that. I missed the AFR one, but I had seen the rules for that and it looked amazing.
Oh, that's I did not like AFR. It was too much work. It was a lot of work, AFR. You had to pick your path and figure out where you wanted to go every couple games. Then you had to find someone to trade with and wait to find someone who had a card that you wanted that was trading, and you had a card that they wanted that they were trading, and you didn't want to play another game, so you traded because you got your trade card, but it's been a day and you haven't found that thing. So now you got to settle for a worse card. Oh, there was a lot of head games in AFR like that where
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that being the downside of some of these cooler mechanics is that they just stall out the league or like
yeah,
the same problem in SNC where it was like people were waiting to find the
yep,
perfect match against their and I get that, but I think it's worth it for me personally. That's what I like. I don't think that's necessarily if I were to say the thing I would change for the health of the league, it would probably be a different answer, right? It would be something like we need to find a way to make our server a space that's not just a spike tournament, right? Like
yeah,
there's so much focus on top eight winning, and that is just so insanely hard to do, even
It's
for like
very hard.
the
It's very hard.
top people, right? And it's stressful, I think, and I'm kind of guilty of that. Like, I'm so driven by that. I'm so motivated by that. But I also think we need to find ways to reward other kinds of things or to separate out the spikes a bit. Like, we tossed around the idea a bit of having a spike designation for players, or like a shark designation where, maybe just if you're in that category, you know, people who aren't in that category have their own sort of league table or their own, payout for the best person who's not. However, you become a shark, you top
Yeah.
eight a certain number of
Your
times,
name's Sawyer or Jordan, one of those two
or you
people.
get bonus points for beating sharks, things like that, right? Like, I think that kind of space, some way to engage in that way. Or something like free tournaments for new players who crash out of the league. In the first few weeks, they could
Yeah.
have a parallel tournament that starts in week 5 and goes for 2 weeks. You win your entry to the next league. I think something like that. There's a lot of space for
League
those
committee.
kind of things
League committee.
to
Listen to
kind
that
of.
suggestion. That's a great one. Holy cow. I love that. It's not a very new player friendly place. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's not, I feel like it's harder and harder for new players to succeed in the league. So giving them a reason to come back, because that's everyone I try to get to come in. They come in, they get stomped by the top 16 people, and then they have a bad time. They don't come back. But that's a good way to fix
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
hard.
If you lose out early, but hey, now there's an extra tournament just for me, and I still have some stakes. I can come back next time, right? Like that's nice.
Yeah, I think, or even just other, like, I think it's just about shifting our mindset to be like, the tournament doesn't have to just be the road up to winning or elimination, but like, I don't know, like we talked about for the Phyrexian League, we could have done something like, once you're eliminated, you stay on, you either get a new pool or whatever. I mean, that's kind of what's happened, but like, even just having it be a thing where players who are out become Phyrexians and they have some role still in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm spitballing off the top of my head here, but just, you know, shifting away from it all just being that linear path to the top of the mountain that so few people can reach, and making space for other kinds of gameplay and competition, right? Like,
I know that's one of Caleb's big things is that he wants to figure out a way to get eliminated players back in. So it's something that I know, it's on people's radars and they're thinking about it and talking about it. It is. If people are here, they want to play Magic. I mean, give them something to play. Only so many people can play in Mitch's spaghetti series every Thursday, right?
I love stuff like that too. I mean, I think to some degree there are people doing, I mean, this as well, like Mitch's series. There's people, the feature matches, those are all kind of what I'm talking about, right? They're a different way to engage, or, I mean, the spaghetti series is its own whole separate thing that we do. And I think stuff like that is what we need, right? Like, that's perfect. Or the side server, that's also a thing that opened up a different kind of community space, right?
Yeah, now that Cody's open out there, it's get in Cody's side server, please. It's a great place to be. A lot of great discussion. You beat me real bad this week, Adam. We don't have time to talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it, but I need to mention that you did beat me with an Op Nixilis ultimate, made me lose 7 life and draw 7 cards when I was at 4. So thank you for that.
I had to read the cards so many times before I sacked my 7-power creature to it. To be like, is this going to do it? Is it going to do the thing? Or am I going to lose the game in front of all these people watching?
It did the thing. What do you think of the one mechanic coming up? Talking about mechanics that maybe go too far or not far enough. Is the one set, do you think that's going to be interesting, or is that not enough of a twist for you?
I think they do a great job with these things. That scratches the itch for all the people who wanted rerolls, but like, rerolls seemed really problematic. I actually think that's a great way to do rerolls. Yeah, I would have gone further, but like, I totally understand they don't really want to go further with the main sets. And I think there's like good reasons for that. Even just the thing we were just talking about, engaging new people, the more complicated and like off into our own world we are, the less that's going to engage and keep people, I think. So I get it. So for me, I think that the answer is different if we're talking about, like, for me personally, yeah, I would go crazier. I would have once you're converted, your whole deck gets replaced by Phyrexian creature. I mean, they did very close to that, actually.
Yeah.
But like, I would say you start off in not one, and then
You
slowly
become
gain
one
in one, and then eventually you lose all your starting cards, and you're just all
monster.
corrupted. Or something like, once you're eliminated, you're in like a mini tournament to win your way back in. You're the sort of Phyrexian Unlife or the Phyrexian Arena kind of theme, where you're in a fight to get one of the top 8 spots is reserved for someone who is eliminated.
That's a good idea too.
Single elimination tournament all the way against every other person who's out.
I love these ideas, Adam. I'm so happy I got you on the show. This guy's an idea guy.
Yeah, I've got all the impractical big ideas that I throw out there and hope someone will implement.
Yeah. Now you figure out how it works. Just do it.
You know what? So I think I'm not unfairly taking credit for this. I think the LFM bot was my idea that I threw out there. And Sawyer was like, I can do this. Like, I can make that. And I was like, well, we should have that, right? Like, why don't we just have anonymous asking for matches?
Yeah.
Like, if there's no tech barrier, like, shouldn't we be doing that instead of hunting the weak?
Oh, the name of the show. I love this guy. Well, Adam, we got to wrap it up here. We only got a couple minutes left for Zoom kicks us off as it likes to do. So I want to know, what is your greatest Magic accomplishment?
I mean, do I have accomplishments? The SNC League, that's probably it. If I'm honest with myself, that's probably as good as it's ever going to get.
Yeah.
I don't know, that league, that mega draft, I was so dialed in that mega draft. I remember I played Chris P, Emmett, and then the big boss was Sawyer. Those are 3 people. I looked this up recently. Those 3 people, my in-league record against them is 1-10.
Nice. Nice.
Which is significantly lower than my usual win rate. But that was my path to the final, to the league win. I've never beaten Emmett or Sawyer in a league match. But I got him there.
You beat him where it mattered, though, right? That's it.
So that was probably as good as it's ever going to get for me. I don't know. I've gone infinite drafting at my LGS in paper this year.
That's great too.
So that's a kind of achievement, I guess. I've done really well at the game days. I've been loving that as a thing.
Oh yeah, you got some good game day promos.
Yeah, I've never won it, but I've top 2'd and top 4'd all the game days that I've done recently, which that's felt nice, and it's paid for my drafting for the rest of the year between that and some other.
You want to talk sharks? Well, get out of the water when this guy's around, huh? Look at this game day winner coming after your league winner. Not a lot of people can say that, man. So, congratulations, Adam. For all you've done for the league, for your league win, for your Planeschase, for your Obnixilis Ultimate.
Maybe that was it. That was probably the high water mark.
Oh, yeah. I hope you got to see that one, because I told him afterwards, this is the best death I've had all league. It's fantastic. Planeswalker Ultimate, lose that way all day. Not upset at all. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, I wish you luck out there in Planeschase. I'm kind of with you, where it's like I basically need to 5-0 the next week to kind of have a chance for top 8, and the odds of that happening are not great. So I'm with you. Like, I wish you luck out there, and I hope you can get that 5-0, maybe even 6-0 if you only play your 4th game this week.
Thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, good luck out there.
See you in the mega draft.
Adam's great. Adam's wonderful. He's an idea man. He's like Cody. Adam's got a ton of ideas. He's like, I don't know how to make it work, but these are great ideas. I'm like, yeah, I like a lot of the stuff he's saying. League committee members, listen to Adam. Adam might be in the league committee. I'm not sure. The way he talked, I was like, oh, are you in the league committee? I'm not sure. I don't do research on this show. That's not a part of what I do. But what I do is say goodbye to fallen and past people from the league. So let's say goodbye to a couple now.
The river Styx, the river of death, has strange powers. Time to see if the legend is true.
You'll need this. A Charon, the ferryman.
Evan C. Peas of Crab. Raphael F. Prudent. Shane K. Malfunction. James Me. I'm Jolt. Chris F. Seafair John. Kevin I. Knee 1993. Kome S. C_SM. Nicholas K. Bionic. Sean R. Chucky GR. Noel S. Stopgap. Damian S. Butt Crack Magic. Not your league, man. Vincent T. TV Vincent. Dan K. Physician. Serge T. Sergi Boy. Amir A. How does one choose? John R. Ged. And those are the people we lost this week. We're going to lose a lot more. And you're probably going to be my name involved. But hey, I think I'm making top half, which is the goal, right? Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to make top half. So I'm getting back my money. I'll be in the next. I already signed up for the next league. If you haven't signed up for one league, looks real fun. The mechanics look really, really cool. We'll get into that more in the next couple of weeks. But I think one league is going to be really fun. Looks like a really pushed set. And it just looks like a great time. Who doesn't love a new league, right? Because, this league's going, but, it's starting to wind down. We're going into week 5, and this is where it gets really hard. This is where it gets really hard. And then week 6, I don't like week 6. But we'll talk about week 6 next week on the show. Until we talk about week 6, until I have you back next week, I hope that you get to keep a good 7. And I hope that the shuffler is in your favor, because it was not in mine this week. 1 and 3. Ugh. Feels bad, man. But hey, next week, I'm feeling positive, and I am looking up. I do like the deck restriction, by the way. I don't want to seem like a negative Nancy. I like the restrictions. It's just not everyone was restricted in the same way, and I got super restricted. But it's fine. Everything's fine. I'll see everyone next week. Bye, everybody. We are now recording. Okay. Everything else was off the books. All that bad stuff you said about Cody, don't worry about it, okay? Didn't make the record.
I want that on the record.